Everybody, I'm Lauren Coleman here with Eric Chilton and Stacy Spivey.
Yeah, we hope you had a wonderful weekend. I know I did, even though it was pretty chilly outside. But thank you for watching the 4 to 5 right here on Wfmy News 2, Fire Stick, Roku, and the News 2 app for your TV, phone, or tablet.
Time to get back to it today. That's
yes,
right.
The weekend's over, unfortunately. Well, we do want to start with some sad news this afternoon. Former Miss USA and North Carolina native Cheslie Kryst died yesterday. New York City police say her body was found outside a high-rise apartment building near Times Square. They are calling it a suicide. Kryst exploded onto the national stage, winning the Miss USA title in May 2019. Her success continued as she was often spotted at red carpet events, mostly recently working as a correspondent for Extra. She was also an attorney, getting her degree here in the Triad at Wake Forest University. Kryst was 30 years old. Reaction is pouring in online. Thousands are sharing their heartbreak over this loss, including deans and professors at Wake Forest Law. Dean of Wake Forest Law, Jane Aiken, released this statement saying, quote, "We are deeply saddened to learn the passing of Kryst, who was a treasured friend, classmate, and mentor to so many in our Wake Forest Law community. She was a persistent advocate for social justice, and her kindness, generosity, and inspiring spirit left a lasting impact on all those who had the privilege of knowing her. We extend our heartfelt condolences to Cheslie's family and loved ones." Dean and Professor of Law Emerita, Suzanne Reynolds says, "I remember Cheslie from her first day of law school in my contracts class. She always brought out the human side of the cases we studied, a gift that led her after graduation into pro bono work on death penalty cases. I grieve with her beloved family, classmates, and the thousands she touched, especially for the pain she must have endured before we lost her." And then current president of Wake Forest Law's Black Law Student Association wrote, quote, "Cheslie was not only a brilliant person, but she also had a pure heart. She made it clear that we can do whatever we set our mind to. She consistently used her voice to speak up for those ignored and silenced. She was steadfast in her support of women and used her platform to uplift those around her." I actually had the privilege of interviewing Cheslie as Miss USA in June 2020. We talked about racism and inequality in our country. She also shared with me her dreams to continue work as an entertainment reporter once her reign ended, something she was able to accomplish. Her death shocked so many of us.
It strikes me too that someone who was so well put together, appeared so well put together, and had a title that related to beauty, in death, it was something that was so not beautiful. I think we want to be picture perfect, but nothing is perfect.
I spoke with psychotherapist Dr. Nanette Funderburk about Kryst and how often it can be hard to know if someone is struggling with thoughts of suicide. She says we all need to help each other out.
There are times that we see small red flags and we dismiss them. So, if you think you see a small red flag, go ahead and check in on a person.
Dr. Funderburk went on to say it's okay to ask someone if they are thinking about harming themselves. So here's what you need to look for in people. This is according to the National Institute of Mental Health. Someone talks about wanting to die or being a burden to others, feeling empty, sad, anxious, agitated, or having no reason to live. They may also change behavior, like withdrawing from family, friends, giving away items, having extreme mood swings, eating or sleeping more or less, and substance abuse. Dr. Funderburk also wanted people to know these protective factors. Have family or friends that you completely trust and connect to. Having a pet, or having the belief that suicide is an appropriate thing to do. So those are all things that she said that maybe you can do or put into your life to help prevent this from happening, especially if you are, at risk for suicide. I just want people to know if you're struggling, you're not alone. I've been through it myself, struggling with mental health, and I've been pretty open and honest about that here on 4 to 5. But get help. Know that you are loved and know that you are worthy.
Yeah, get that help. And suicide, mental health, stress, anxiety, it has no look, has no background. anybody can really struggle with this. I had the honor of meeting her a couple years ago at a Dress for Success event where she was the guest speaker. And I remember her speech was just so inspirational. She just carried herself with so much class. She was so gorgeous and beautiful and so put together, someone you wouldn't think would be going through those kind of things.
I think that's the key, is that and Lauren said it best, is that there's no face to this, right? It doesn't matter how put together you are, how, if you've had a troubled past, it's like, this can affect everybody and anybody. It touched my family too, my extended family, with a suicide that I would have never guessed that there was any problem at all. So I think Nanette Funderburg is right. Little tiny red flags are enough to ask, and they just need to know that you care.
And even not asking, just going above them and talking to their parent, talking to their spouse, someone else, if you feel that there's any inkling that they might be headed in that direction. Sometimes people will say they're okay when they're not actually doing okay.
Yeah, so check in on your people today. Make that your mission.
Yep. Very true.
And also, if you or someone you know is experiencing depression, resources are available out there. You can call the National Suicide Prevention Hotline at 1-800-273-8255. AFSP in North Carolina also has resources available, and we do have more information posted on our website, WFMYnews2.com.
Let's get to your 4 to 5 roundup. 6 cars are all back at an automotive shop in Greensboro after they were reported stolen last week. It happened 2 Saturdays ago at Ramirez Automotive on South Elm and Eugene Street. 33 sets of keys were also stolen. The owner of the shop says it will cost about $10,000 to replace. They also plan to up their security to go along with security cameras that are in place. Police say this still is an ongoing investigation. The United Nations Security Council is meeting today to discuss the threat against Ukraine. Thousands of citizens there are joining local defense units in preparation for a possible Russian invasion. The U.S. says a Russian invasion of Ukraine would be horrific, but there's still time for President Putin to choose a different course. Moscow maintains it has no plans to invade, but that doesn't explain the roughly 100,000 Russian troops on Ukraine's border. Over a year later, and you will finally be able to catch the Broadway musical Mean Girls at the Tanger Center for the Performing Arts in Greensboro. The show was originally supposed to premiere back in 2020, but was delayed due to the pandemic. Tickets for Mean Girls go on sale February 11th. The show will start September 13th.
We're seeing the first signs of declining coronavirus numbers in our state. Hospitalizations at the state level have now come down for the 4th day in a row, which is good news. The latest patient count is 4,882. It's actually 300 fewer than the record high the state set last Wednesday. This is significant because we haven't seen 4 consecutive days of declines since well off the left side of this graph that you can see there in mid-December. As with the previous spikes, the hope is this number will start to rapidly decline over the coming weeks.
Guilford County Commissioners are meeting again this Thursday where they will review metrics presented by health leaders. As of right now, this is just a meeting to review the mask policy. If the commissioners decide to take any action, they must give a 10-day notice before doing so. Traffic is backing up near the Greensboro Coliseum, as you can see in this video here, as the department hands out free N95 masks. This is a live look at the line from our drone Redbird 2. You will get 1 box of masks per household. Each box has 20 masks, handing them out until 7 or until they run out. They did a similar drive-through last Friday in High Point and ran out in half an hour. We have reached out to see how they are on supplies for today's drive. We are still waiting to hear back, but we'll get that information to you.
Well, we talk about a little bit of a warm up. It's chilly out here. Don't look at what I'm wearing and think this is what you can wear outside. I'm only out here for a couple minutes at a time, and then it's right back inside. So temperatures, 46 Greensboro, not bad there. 50 in Burlington, 47 in Winston-Salem. We go back to Mount Airy, hello hometown, 45 degrees there. Tonight dropping down to about 25. Clear skies tonight, partly sunny tomorrow. A little bit milder as we see some upper 40s and low 50s depending on where you are. That'd be from north to south with that range of temperatures. Satellite and radar were pretty clear right now. In fact, I had to go out to a really wide shot to go all the way back to Texas and Louisiana to see any precipitation there, at least in the southeast. And we will remain clear for a couple of days. We do have a rain chance or two here or there. The futurecast, you can see the low moves off the coast there. That high pressure settles in and keeps us on the good side of things, really, for another day or two. Watching another front that's back to our west and see who wins this battle. As the high moves away and this front approaches, we'll be watching for some rain showers with that system as well. But it takes it a day or so to get here. Here's what it looks like. 7-day outlook with 49 tomorrow. Partly cloudy skies. We look at variably cloudy on Wednesday, a little milder there for Groundhog Day, and 53. We've got low 60s. How about that for a warm-up? And some rain, though. It's a 40 and 60% for Thursday, Friday. And then it's cooler and clearer for the weekend. Sunshine, mid-40s for highs, 20s for lows, especially Sunday morning. That'll be for your Saturday and Sunday.
Hey, sorry, that was really loud. Mic check, Jalen. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Thanks.
After two thrilling games yesterday, we've got this year's Super Bowl matchup, the Cincinnati Bengals and the Los Angeles Rams. The Bengals may be located in Ohio, but many in the Triad will likely be rooting for them, and there are 4 Triad locals on the roster. WFMY News' Jalen Gilkey spoke to folks who knew them before their NFL stardom. What'd you find out?
Yeah, Lauren, linebacker Jermaine Pratt, former High Point Central star. He did big things at NC State as well. Larry Ogunjobi, well, he fell in love with the game of football while at Ragsdale High. DJ Reader, a former 5-star recruit and 3-sport athlete at Grimsley High, and linebacker Akeem Davis Gaither, the pride of Thomasville High School's class of 2015. All 4 play for the Cincinnati Bengals, all 4 on their way to the Super Bowl. Today, I met Evander Davis, Akeem Davis Gaither's older brother. He knew Akeem was going to do special things in the NFL. He just didn't think it was going to be this quick.
I'm actually proud, man. From I'm talking about little league days to middle school, high school, following them up all the way through college. I mean, we've been there, so it's like, hey, we just enjoying it, man. For him to be in a Super Bowl this fast is like crazy for us. So it's like, hey, we there for him.
And many of you know the name DJ Reader from his time dominating offensive lines at Grimsley High. I talked to his former head coach, Damon Corio. He said Reeder is even more impressive off the field than he is on it.
We were all blessed with DJ Reeder, and it is not often you find the athlete, the student, the person. It's not often you find that.
Most Sundays, I must admit, I'm a Ravens fan, and the Bengals are one of our bitter rivals. But on Super Bowl Sunday, even though it pains me to say this, I think I might want the Bengals to win it all.
I've been trying to think about who I want to win. I haven't decided yet. Lauren, do you know?
I don't have a team. I'm just going to be rooting there. I'll be there for the socially distanced, Super Bowl parties and all that. But I don't have a team.
Yeah. I mean, I guess I can say I'm for the food, right?
Yeah, the Rotel and all that. That's what I'm there for.
Yeah. What about you, Chilton?
You're going to be there for that halftime show. I know. No,
Yes.
I'm going Bengals all the way because I have a couple of close friends that are big-time Cincinnati fans. Plus, they haven't been there since the late 80s, so they need a shot.
Yeah, Eric, I'm right there with you. Last time they've been, I wasn't born. And actually, one of my good friends, he's from Cincinnati. And if you could have saw him yesterday after they beat the Chiefs in overtime, it was unbelievable. I mean, he was laid out on the floor. It was like he played. So, I mean, I'm riding with him.
He was sweating.
Exactly. I'm riding with him.
That's awesome.
I do love that it's two teams that we haven't seen in a while.
Yes,
So
yes.
it's just nice.
Yeah.
Change it up a little bit. Oh, poor Chiefs fans.
All right. We'll be right back.
Chilly right now, but not really cold. We've seen some mid 40s and up to about 50 degrees. That's not bad. Really not far off the mark where we should be anyway this time of the year. 50 degrees in Burlington, 46 in Greensboro. To the south, we got a couple of 51s there. That's Lexington and Asheboro. And then 57 in Troy, getting a little bit warm there, heading for this time of the year. Heading back to the mountain communities, Wilkesboro at 46, Mount Airy with the same reading. Tonight, we'll drop down to 25 degrees. Look for clear skies. Partly cloudy for tomorrow for the most part, and a little bit more mild than today. We'll go up to close to 50 degrees. The official forecast high going to 49. Not a lot happening here. Big ridge of high pressure in control. There will be a front approaching, but we think that front won't get here until probably midweek toward the end of the week at least. And you can see that high will slip back down to the south. There's the approach of that front. But if you look at the 7-day, you can see exactly when that's going to arrive. And we think that's going to be a situation where you might need the umbrella possibly toward the middle and end of the week. Let's go Thursday, Friday with a 40 to 60% chance of showers, but much more warmer weather moving in. 63 Thursday, 60 Friday. We're in the mid 40s for highs and sunshine, so chilled sunshine for Saturday. Sunday, look for lows Saturday morning, mid 30s, but low 20s on Sunday morning.
Today on U Day, Coach Lamont highlights the Queen of Soul, Aretha Franklin, and how an impactful statement she once made will remind you of the internal treasure that holds the answers to all of your life questions.
The Queen of Soul, Aretha Franklin, once said this: "Sometimes what you're looking for is already there." For so many of us, time is wasted looking for answers to lingering questions that we already know the answer to. Everything you need to live your best everyday life already exists within you, but it's up to you to awaken it. There is nothing that can stop you but you. Nothing that life can hold you back from except the things that you grant power to. It is time to take back your power from the things that have rendered you powerless and adopt a mindset like Aretha that says this: there is no longer a need to search for anything you already possess. Now is the time to simply know what you already know. This is Coach Lamont. Make today your best U Day. I'll see you tomorrow.
Oh, I like that one. It's already inside of you. I think a lot of times we tend to get in our own way sometimes, and we can overthink, and you can block your own blessings when it's like, you already got it, you can accomplish this, you just got to trust yourself and believe that you can do it.
I think 90% of his messages are always that you have the power. Like,
do.
it's no matter what his topic is, I think the bottom line is you control your destiny, you decide how people react to you. You know, I mean, really your happiness resides within you.
Yeah, I just keep thinking about Cheslie. I really do.
Oh, I
I
know.
mean, she's just on my mind, and everything that he was talking about, just, thinking about, like, all of us just deal with a lot internally, and we just really need to process it and realize that we have worth and purpose.
Yes.
And I think that's exactly what his messages always put out.
And that's why it's also so important to have a good support system and have people around you to remind you that you are worthy, that you are destined for greatness, because I think a lot of times we can lose sight of that because of the pressures that we put on ourselves. So I'm here to tell you both that you guys are absolutely terrific.
No, thank you.
And great at what you do.
All right.
You are too.
That's right. We're taking a break. We'll be right back. You know, some would say it is a symbol of the foundation of the city of Winston-Salem. The Reynolda House's history goes back quite a bit, and while it is a museum at present, its past tells quite the story. I spoke with Executive Director Allison Perkins about its history. Allison, thanks for taking time with us today. You know, there's a rich history with Reynolda House, and sometimes newcomers to the area may not be familiar with this. This goes back a long way, doesn't it?
It does. In fact, Reynolda House has been operating as a museum of American art since 1967. But our history that precedes the opening of the museum goes back into the early 20th century, when Catherine Smith Reynolds and her husband R.J. Reynolds created Reynolda as their country home, where they raised their family and where they lived in, across 1,000 acres. What we see in Reynolda is really a great constellation of history that's relevant to us here in Winston-Salem, as well as a landscape that has been a haven and a safe place for countless thousands and thousands of visitors who walk through the trails, who enjoy Reynolda Gardens, and especially so during this the last 2 years of the pandemic for our community.
You know, it's interesting because that family built Winston-Salem, no bones about that. Everybody knows that. But their gifts and their generosity, I think, they continue to give back to us.
Absolutely. And I think that the gift of a Museum of American Art, which is housed within Reynolda House, is one way that we can really adhere to our mission and our desire to help people better understand their place in the world around them through American art. You know, I like to say that we share the beauty and the complexity of the American story at Reynolda, both in the museum and across the landscape.
Great stuff you guys are doing. Thank you so much for taking time today. So I'll tell you this, when I was speaking with her about just the Reynolds family, as we said, the foundation of Winston-Salem, but the amount of land they had, I didn't understand. She said there was like 1,000 acres all across Winston-Salem, so it stretches all the way out. Their land is where Wake Forest is now.
Wow,
and then
really?
The Grayland Estate and the Reynolda House, all that was there, 1,000 acres worth of land.
So
plus.
when you go on these tours, do you get to explore the whole home? Because I was reading it was like 64 rooms.
So now that it's a museum, it's kind of more of a showroom kind of thing. But if you go to Grayland to see that, which is literally just across the street down the road, that was another one of their properties that now is used for an event center, and it is beautiful too. So you have to check it out.
Yeah, that house looks amazing. But those pictures of the family, it just really takes you back in time. It was cool to see that.
Yeah, a couple of dollars rolling around with that family back in the old days. Yeah, we're coming right back. Stay there.
Hey, good afternoon. Thanks for joining us. I'm Stacey Spivey with Eric Chilton and Lauren Coleman.
Hey everybody, welcome to the 4 to 5 here on WFMY News 2, Roku, Fire Stick, and the WFMY News 2 app. Lots to talk about today. We're going to hop into this next story. It's that time of the year where Greensboro celebrates the start of a movement that empowered some but angered others. February 1st is more than just a day. On this date, 62 years ago, 4 North Carolina A&T students protested racial segregation by sitting at the whites-only counter at Woolworth's here in downtown Greensboro. Their brave action started the civil rights sit-in movement, helping to create change throughout the nation. Tomorrow, February 1st, marks a monumental anniversary in both Greensboro and American history. Due to COVID-19, the International Civil Rights Center and Museum moved its annual February 1 gala to July 25th. Museum co-founder Skip Alston says the museum will feature dramatic readings and history lessons on its website throughout the month of February to highlight the day.
This is the way that a time to reflect. We call it our holy day because it is a time that we really come together to reminisce and then decide on where we are now, look at where we are now and where we need to go for as far as the future is concerned, as far as race relations are concerned.
NCA&T will observe the 62nd sit-in anniversary with a breakfast celebration tomorrow morning. Last year's event was held virtually due to COVID-19. This year, the university celebration will be hybrid to reduce in-person capacity.
We think it's important to get that story in front of students, in front of those who have not heard it before, and for us to continue to point to what the actions of 4 teenage young men were able to accomplish.
The breakfast celebration will start tomorrow at 7 a.m. in the Student Center. The event will conclude with the laying of a memorial wreath at the February 1 monument on campus. For event details and to learn more on what the community is doing to celebrate this day, just look for this story on our website, WFMYnews2.com.
Everybody has to go. If you haven't been in that museum, you have to go there.
Absolutely.
It gives me cold chills when I see the actual counter. You know, and I've talked to the curator several times doing stories and the like, and just to know that that's where it all began. That's where the national movement started is just huge for our area.
I definitely think everyone should check it out. That was actually one of the first places that I did check out moving to Greensboro. And I remember walking into the lobby area of the museum and just seeing that big picture of the 4 students. And it really does still send chills through your body. And the museum is a lot smaller than the one in DC or the one in Memphis, but about 2 hours you can pretty much go through there and you'll leave just feeling fulfilled and wanting to make a difference and make a change.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, it makes you ask a lot of questions about everything. I've had the privilege of going. I went like right when I moved here as well, Lauren, and every time we have friends come and visit, I take them there. That most people don't realize that happened here in Greensboro, but it's really cool to see how everything's still in place as if it were back in that day. And you just really think about like, wow, the courage that these people had, these 4 students, they were still young. They were so young. I think about when I was in college, there's no way I would have had the courage like that to do something like that.
And I think sharing this story lets the young people of today know that you can make a change, you can make a difference, you can have the courage to start a movement. And I think we have been seeing our young people in this world do that within the last couple of years.
Go to YouTube and search for Sandra Hughes' story. She tells the entire story of someone young growing up here. It was pretty amazing too. We'll take a break.
I'll listen to that.
Actually, we have 4 to 5 roundup.
Yeah, let's go ahead and get to your roundup. A baby, woman, and 18-year-old are recovering after a fire in Lexington. Deputies say it happened around 7 Saturday at a home on Estates Drive. Investigators said the baby was trapped inside of the trailer, but thankfully rescued by firefighters. Fire marshals have not released a cause for the fire. There's another rapid COVID test option for kids. OraSure says its COVID-19 rapid test now have a green light from the FDA for children ages 2 to 14. The approval comes after demonstrating 93% accuracy in both children and adults. Previously, its tests were cleared under emergency use authorization for adults and teens ages 15 to 17. Tensions rose along the Pacific Rim this weekend when North Korea launched a missile capable of hitting U.S. military bases in the region. The Biden administration says it remains committed to making sure North Korea does not become a nuclear nation and says it is willing to hold talks with the North over its ballistic missile and nuclear programs. This is the 7th North Korean launch of short or intermediate missiles this month.
This tax season could be more stressful than usual, and your refund may be delayed.
You're saying the agency is operating with hundreds fewer employees than it should or needs?
Thousands fewer employees than it needs.
Yikes. A wave of retirement and budget cuts have hammered the IRS. A report by the National Taxpayer Advocate reveals the IRS received 282 million phone calls from taxpayers last year, but was able to answer only about 11% of them. The report adds the lucky ones who did get through waited an average of 23 minutes on hold. The agency advises you to file electronically if you can and file early this year. I will definitely be filing early this year because I don't want to wait 30 minutes or so to get through on the lines. That's crazy.
What do you want to bet if you owe, that bill will come right on time?
Absolutely.
Right. I mean, I was talking to some tax experts during our 5:30 Q&A last week and really learned a lot. There is a lot of changes on this year's taxes. So I would say my best advice after talking to them is just go see a professional to help you, because there's so many things with the child tax credit, with unemployment. There's just things you need to know. So I'm going to go to a professional because that's just going to be easier and have them help me do.
It's confusing normally, even without all this. I think we have to go to somebody. We couldn't do it ourselves.
Yeah. Just do it early too. Don't wait till the last minute to get all those documents in place.
Yeah, and they're already struggling with staffing shortages anyway, so yeah, just get to it. Well, a team of physicians, or astrophysicists, in Australia believe they have discovered something unusual in our universe, unlike anything they have ever seen before. While mapping radio waves, the team from the International Center for Radio Astronomy Research noted a giant burst of energy 3 times an hour. The source pulses for about a minute every 18 minutes and 18 seconds in an unusual pattern that they say has not been previously observed. According to researchers, objects that turn off and on in the universe aren't new to astronomers and are actually called transients. Researchers will continue monitoring the object and even plan to search for more like it in the universe.
All right, so
spooky.
I read this a couple times earlier today. I don't quite understand what this means, so if one of you guys want to break this, it sounds cool.
Let's go to the meteorologist
I'm
here.
not really, so
Well,
it's releasing energy every 18 minutes?
Yes, it's above all of our pay grades, by the way, to try to understand this. But I will tell you that I read this and I thought the fact that it's 18 minutes, 18 seconds, seconds, and it's kind of on the regular. That's what threw me off. But the article I read, the scientist said, we're not thinking about aliens. What we're thinking about is that it's something that's rotating, and they call it a pulsar. Don't ask me what that is, but that it emits radio waves every time that part of it comes around. So they think it's like rotating and sending out those signals. But it's interesting. It makes you wonder.
I mean, I fully believe that there is something else out there. I
mean, the universe goes on and on
so
and on and
big.
on.
We have
So
no idea.
there could be
Too
humans
big.
on another planet.
That's right.
And we just don't know.
As long as they stay there, I'm okay.
Right.
Transformers taking over.
I'll stick to what I know. Let's talk about our forecast and see what's happening with that. We're looking at some milder weather moving in. This is a good thing. In fact, 2 of the days in our 7-day outlook, we're in the 60s, believe it or not. I know, wait, don't fall off the couch. Here we go, 45 degrees, 46 rather in the Triad right now, 52 if you head east toward Raleigh, mid-50s there for Wilmington, beautiful at the coast. Tonight we get cool again, 25 degrees, so that's your morning temperature, right? That's when we hit those overnight lows. 49 tomorrow, so we will see low 50s in the southern Piedmont. It'll be pretty comfortable, partly cloudy skies. Now, we'll go out to the wider shot here so you can see the closest really any precipitation in the southeast. You have to go all the way to Texas, Louisiana to see that. It's a big ridge of high pressure that controls us for a while, but as that high slips a little bit to the south, we're in good shape. What we're watching, though, is this next front which approaches. Now, some of the models show this. You can see, there's some frozen precip on the backside of that front, but we think for us it's mostly rain. Maybe once you get into central Virginia, that's when you see that changeover. We'll keep an eye on that, but for right now, it is a rain event, and that would be Thursday and Friday with that 40 and 60% chance of showers those 2 days, and those temperatures are in the low 60s. But for the weekend, chilled sunshine, 40s for highs and lots of sun.
We have good news to share this afternoon. WFMY News 2 anchor Julie Luck is out of the hospital. She posted this to Facebook saying, quote, "Good morning, friends. It is for me. It is for me. I'm back home after undergoing colon cancer surgery." The surgeon said the procedure went well with no complications. In fact, the doctor says he's never discharged a patient one day after this type of surgery. "I'm the first. I believe all of your prayers helped me make this possible. Thank you for your love and support."
Julie shared with us and you last week that after a routine colonoscopy, doctors diagnosed her with colon cancer. While she asked for small prayers, she wants everyone to not put off their doctor's visit. So make an appointment right now and go get screened.
So important, and I know Julie had said that, she goes, that's my main message right now. She goes, I think I'm gonna be okay. I want everybody to understand it's such a small procedure. I mean, I've done it myself several times. It's not that big of a deal, but you could save your own life. And I mean, really, she said, I hate that I put it off because now I know and I did something about it. Everybody needs to do it.
Happy to hear this great news, Julie. Glad that you're doing okay, but I just admire so much the bravery she has to share this with thousands of, people all over the world, because it's online too. But then I think about all the people that she's touching and all the people who are inspired by this to go get checked out. So that's great.
I'm just so happy to hear that she's doing well, and we'll continue to pray for her, and I hope that you will as well, or just simply go get checked.
Right.
I know it's not fun. Well, I don't know personally, but doctors and people have said it's not fun, but it's just, that small portion of time in your life that could add days and days to your life. So
not
just
that big of a deal. Yep, get out there and do it. Now we're going to break. I know I'm right this time.
Actually,
are you?
Don't do it.
In other news, we have another story.
Hello friends, I am walking from my office into the studio. Ice cold milk and an Oreo cookie, they forever go together like a classic combination. Adulting. It is defined as the practice of behaving in a way characteristic characteristic of a responsible adult, especially the accomplishment of a mundane but necessary task. All right, friends, when you hear the word adulting, what things kind of come to mind?
Can you pay my bills? Can you pay my telephone bill?
Oh my
Can you pay my automobile?
Oh my gosh.
Eric, are you going to sing your adulting things too?
No, you know, I never could stand that word because I'm like, you grow up, you know, it's life. It's what we all have to deal with.
It is what you all have to do. Okay, so let's take it a totally different way because I know you, Stacy, you think adulting is for the birds.
This is my reaction. I mean, take me back to college. I mean, I love my husband, I love my baby, but take me back to college. No responsibility, no bills, just doing whatever.
We didn't know how good it was.
We didn't know how good it was. All right, while some adulting isn't too bad, there are some times, right, when adulting on a 5-star rating scale, and here it is with 1 star given, deemed overrated, and it says, do not recommend. I'm guessing that you feel that way a lot of times.
Yeah, I mean, life is just hard, especially in the past 2 years living in a pandemic.
Oh,
I mean, and we've had to be the adults in it. Like sometimes I look around, I'm like, oh, I'm an adult in this room now. Like especially that we have younger and younger people coming into the newsroom, specifically one who was born in the year 2000, and I still don't know how I feel about that.
You don't know how you feel about that.
When tax time comes around, I hate adulting.
Yes, see, now that's not a fun thing,
No.
is it, at all? Okay, so you're definitely not alone. There's a million reasons to bypass an adulting moment. So let's take a look at some of those reasons. According to a recent One Poll survey, nearly 2 in 3 adults admit to avoiding adulting duties by using an excuse. Now, the classic, I'm too tired, was the most common, followed by it's too cold, for sure, and then I forgot and I'll start tomorrow. Okay. I got to tell you, even the blunt, I just can't be bothered sometimes makes the top 10 of those excuses. Do any of those sound familiar?
I'll start tomorrow.
Yep, that's mine.
That stuck out to me.
The I'll start tomorrow?
Yeah.
That's
I
mine
say
too.
I'm too cold and I'm too tired every day of my life.
She does say that she's cold every day. She's shivering right now.
I'm like holding my hand, I'm cold.
All right, so you at home may be thinking that too. I wonder what your catchphrase is. Everyone from millennials beyond use the word adulting because really at every different life stage, you're thinking to yourself, oh, this is what this life stage is, right? Because I think, you know, in your 20s, you think adulting is one thing. In your 30s, you think it's something else, and on and on and on it goes. So I leave all of you with this right here. Coffee, because adulting is hard. Liquid encouragement to do whatever task is next, friends.
giving back is something we all should do, right? But one local museum is taking it to a new level, all in the name of education. I spoke with Allison Perkins, Executive Director of the Reynolda House, about this new initiative. Well, I think this is very cool, especially with the rich art history that you can learn through Reynolda House and just history in general. Tell me a little bit about the concept and the origin of this program.
So the Museums for All is a national initiative spearheaded by the Institute of Museum and Library Services, which is a federally based program that provides support for museums and libraries all across the nation. Reynolda House has always had a really strong commitment to welcoming visitors and ensuring that people from all walks of life have access to the resources that we can provide. But we really saw the opportunity in this program called Museums for All to ensure that visitors throughout our community who have SNAP benefits, they receive food assistance benefits, and everyone who does has a card that identifies their assistance. And just by showing that card at the front entrance to Reynolda House, we can waive admission for participants in the SNAP program, and they can come in free of charge and enjoy all that Reynolda House has to offer.
And everyone should have access to this type of information too. You know, in a lot of cases, some of these families may not have access to that educational aspect of Reynolda.
That's right, and I think that by being able to come to the museum with family members or good friends, I think museums are best appreciated and enjoyed, and the power of the learning is really reinforced when you can come with someone you're really comfortable with, whether that's your family or your best friend, and to share those experiences, to learn about the perspectives and unique views that each individual brings to an experience at Reynolda.
So true. Best of luck with this program. You guys are doing great stuff. Thank you so much. It's an initiative that's not only just local. This is a national initiative, as you heard her mention, but it's such a great thing. A lot of these people that they're trying to help out would not have a chance to be exposed to this type of history in the museum environment, and they're offering it free to their families. It's a great thing.
Yeah, and just makes you more well-rounded and more knowledgeable about the community that you live in, so it's great they're getting this opportunity.
Yeah, because museums, they can often be pretty expensive, especially you have a bunch of kids that you want to take. So I love that they are offering this to families in our area. Very important. And we'll be right back.
We will.
Long, awkward pause.
Yesterday.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. We were down
Hey,
there.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
I'm still getting my mic on because I just got it from Eric.
Hi, Alabama, Alaska, Arizona, Arkansas, California, Colorado.
Block that's happened to. Mic check 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Ten 9 8 7 6 5 4 3 2 1. Thank you, Jenna. Hi, Stacy.
Mic check 1 2 3. Mic check 1 2 3. 1 2 3 4 5.
Hey, it's time for my 2 cents, and today we're talking science. One of my all-time favorite topics. It was always my favorite subject in school. Still love it, obviously. Do meteorology today. But this was amazing to me. Did you know that scientists now have genetically modified cells that they call robot cells? Now, they say the definition of a robot is something that's living, so to speak, that can act on its own autonomously and perform a task. So in this case, it's not a robot that we think of with metal and walking around. These are cells that are made of living tissue that serve a purpose and can do a task. For example, they're taking these cells from frog embryos or tadpoles and they're genetically modifying them, making their shape. You see they look like little Pac-Man almost. And they're genetically modified to spin and gather the other cells together that when put together will reproduce and form other cells of their like. That is amazing to me that this can happen. So what would we use this for? They say there are 2 big reasons. One is trauma to the human body. If we've been cut or hurt or broken arm, these cells can go in and cause those cells to reproduce quickly and heal more efficiently and faster. That's amazing. But the big one to me, because cancer has touched all of us, I'm sure, in some way or another, is that they might be able to work in reverse and go to cancer cells and stop them from reproducing. It is an amazing feat. A little scary at times to think about, but the value for this and how it can make all of our lives better is huge. So, say a little prayer that our science serves good purpose in the future. That's just my 2 cents. And that's your 4 to 5. Wfmy News 2 at 5 starts now.
Some city bus routes put on pause. How the pandemic is impacting transportation.
All cars are now accounted for at one Greensboro auto shop after workers came to find 6 missing over a week ago. How the community stepped in to help.
I think we want to be picture perfect, but nothing is perfect.
As we remember North Carolina native and Miss USA